So obviously I'm in contact with literature. My father is a writer, my mother is a Hindi Odia translator. So we have grown with books and among books. So reading books was like, we grew up, most of us have grown up reading books. We didn't have those gadgets those days. So sorry for these younger girls and boys here. So I'm acquainted with great literature from the very beginning of my life when I started reading. Of course, in translation first, in Odia translation, but then very early in my life, I started reading good English literature. My first novel was Hemingway's Old Man and the Sea. That is my first complete English novel, which I read in class 9, my first English novel. And then I've been reading literature, and honestly, to be honest, I go for very high kind of literature. Mediocrity, average literature doesn't really interest me. So when I read Naipaul, A House for Mr. Biswas, I read many of his books, but then when I read A House for Mr. Biswas, I immediately thought of my grandmother. Because this is a novel, House for Mr. Biswas is a novel about a man trying to settle down in the Caribbean. He's not a refugee, he's a migrant. It's a long story. We have to go back to the British rules and things like that. I'm not going there. Anyway, imagine an Indian family, Brahmin family, going as migrants to Caribbean island, Trinidad, Tobago. And there they're trying to settle down. So this man, this patriarch, he's trying to settle down along with a joint family. So he has carried a little India a little family with him. Carried a little India with all its value systems, and he's trying to adapt. And he's trying to have a house of his own. Okay, so the man's struggle in an outside land, that really touched me, and it reminded me of my grandmother's story. My grandmother's struggle in her life, who became widowed very early, and who decided to stay in Bhubaneswar. And Bhubaneswar was becoming a city, just 1948-49, Bhubaneswar was just declared the new capital of Odisha. It was building itself. That is the time when she lost her husband, about that time, and she decided, no, I'm not going to my village. I'll stay here because I have 5 children.